So this video may or may not get me in trouble. I don't really care. People are going to take this the wrong way because they're going to listen with their triggers and not with their ears. So try to pay attention to what I actually say and not what you think I'm saying. All right. But I'm disabled. I'm disabled multiple ways. One, I have 37% lung capacity and at times have to be on oxygen. And I'll put that in perspective for you. I work in a blue collar field where working and humping tools and carrying pipe is expected. I do a very physical and manual job, and I have to do that job slower because of my disability. Also, I have multiple TBIs, or traumatic brain injuries. One of those put me into a coma. So I have short-term memory issues that are profound. I can read a page, flip the page, and forget everything that was on that page. So I have an accommodation with my school, an accommodation with any state test that I take, and I'm also like physically disabled. So whenever I say this, I come from the community of people that I'm talking about here. So don't come at me that hard. Those people that are disabled and those people that are allies of people that are disabled probably need to check our attitude whenever somebody who is not disabled says something about a device or a system or a mechanism or a procedure that we would use to make our life possible, right? So for instance, I could park in a handicap parking spot. If I'm having a good day, I don't park in a handicap parking spot. If I'm having a bad day, I park in a handicap parking spot because walking is difficult. People look at me and they're like, "You don't look handicapped. Can you see inside my body and see a missing lung and a damaged one?" But that attitude is not conducive to educating the public about our disability. See how easy it was for me to get an attitude and be a smartass, right? And that's what I see happen on the internet. Just recently, Justin Dager Nunley, who I follow and I'm a fan of and would consider a friend, although I've only talked to him on the phone twice, he did a video where he didn't understand an accessibility device for a Gatorade, okay, to open a bottle. Now, the person making the video was thrilled about his accessibility device. When Justin Dager Nunley just took the cap off and was like, "What the heck?" It was evident that Justin Dager Nunley did not understand what that device was for. But some of the reaction videos that I've seen, the people explaining it have such disgust or contempt in their voice or in the way that they say their words that it's honestly kind of embarrassing, right? So if we are going to educate people on our disabilities, we need to come at it from a place like an educator would, okay? We need to be nice and polite and engaging and open-minded and not be disgusted by it, right? I remember whenever I was in school, I had a teacher who, no matter what mistake I made, she was always supportive and helped me out. That's the teacher I remembered that I love, right? Her name was Mrs. Cross. She taught 11th grade English. She was amazing. She had a sign on her wall that said "Cross's boss." She was the most supportive teacher that I've ever had. And then I had Mrs. Dalton, who was teaching geometry, who every single time I made a mistake went, "Ugh, didn't you pay attention?" That was the teacher I hated the most, right? Because they weren't supportive, they weren't engaging. So when you see somebody out of ignorance talking about an accessibility device or not understanding something or not understanding a disability or just needing to be educated, maybe the people who are disabled, like myself and like the gentleman in the video, and the people that are allies of the people that are disabled, like the young person that made the video about Justin Dager Nunley, maybe we could wipe the attitude out of our voices for that. Maybe we could approach this with love, kindness, compassion, caring, and education, right? Let's take the attitude out whenever we're dealing with the public not understanding our disability, because ultimately love wins. So if we approach this as, "Hey, you don't understand this. I love you as a person. I love you as a human, let me help you understand. That's going to come across a hell of a lot better than getting up there and being like, if you don't know what it is, it's because you don't need it. And it's like, yeah, that's true, right? But you could have said it better. You could have said it nicer. You could have been more engaging. Come from a position of education, not from an authoritarian position, calling somebody down like they've committed a crime, right? I don't know. Justin Dager Nunley didn't know what that device was. And the reaction videos that I've seen have been nothing but disgust and contempt. Justin Dager Nunley, to the best of my knowledge, is not disabled. Dude was active duty military, okay? Like, I think it was in ammo for the Army, I think, okay? Not a lot of disabled people on active duty. Uncle Sam's got a little bit of a problem with that, you know? So exposure is a thing. If you haven't been exposed to it, how are you supposed to know? Guys, let's come at it from love, kindness, caring, compassion, and education, and not disgust and contempt and calling people down. They haven't broken the law, okay? And even if they did, we're not the cops. We're not the disability police. I love all of you beautiful people. Let's educate the public about our disabilities and not drive wedges between disabled and abled people. That's an idea. Y'all have an absolutely wonderful day.